Hey everyone, it's been a minute. It's LaRon. I wanted to come on just to share with you guys three of the reasons why we tend to lose our hair. And I know it's been a minute since I've been on, and I wanted to just jump back in. I hadn't been feeling well for these past few days, and it kind of took me down. I had a really stressful week at work between clients and working. It was a lot. Hi, Tony Talks. How are you? Tell me, Tony Talks. I don't think I've ever seen your page or followed you. Tell me what it is that you talk about. Hi, Emilio. How are you? I hope everyone is well. So, if you guys haven't seen any of my posts before, my name is LaRon. I am the owner of SBL Hairloss. I know you probably can't see it, but I usually come in here and I talk about some of the reasons why we lose hair, some of the common reasons we have for hair breakage, splitting, why your hair falls out, and different things like that. I am a certified trichologist. I am a hair loss specialist, and I am in the Pleasantville, New Jersey area. And it's about 5 minutes from Atlantic City, or about an hour from Delaware, an hour from Philadelphia, 2 hours from New York. So I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys have any hair questions, you're more than welcome to put them here in the chat because I will be answering all of your questions here. So just wanted to say hello. And if you guys don't know me or not, I am LaRon. I am the owner of SBL Hair Loss here in Pleasantville, New Jersey. I'm a hair loss specialist, and I usually come on here at least 3 or 4 times a week just to talk about three of the general reasons why you tend to lose your hair. Now, there are way more reasons why we tend to lose hair. However, I usually stick with three to keep it simple. So if you guys have any questions about your hair, if you're losing your hair or anything like that, just let me know and we can talk about it here in the chat. So if you guys haven't heard it or not, if you've never heard of the term trichologist, I am a certified trichologist. So I have a certification in hair loss. And I don't perform the same types of services that a dermatologist performs, but I usually can help clients understand why they are losing their hair, how it began, what things have led up to people having hair loss, scalp issues, a sore scalp, why their hair is falling out. How I usually am able to help is I'm able to look deep into the client's experience. I find out how their body systems are affecting the rest of their body and how it all affects their hair and how it affects hair growth. So I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for everyone coming into the room. I'm just going to grab some lotion because I was washing my hands before I got started. My hands are really dry. So usually when I come into the chat, I usually start out with three reasons why we tend to lose our hair. Now, there are way more reasons. If you guys know anything about hair loss and hair breakage and hair growth, I'm pretty sure you all know as adults, you know there are way more reasons than three as to why people tend to lose their hair. But I usually start out with three, and I keep it simple because usually when I start out with three, then that usually promotes people in the group to start talking about their hair. So anyone who's in here, if you've been in my room before, you know you're more than welcome to give me any questions and I'll answer any questions for you. But I usually start to talk about three reasons why you lose your hair. Now, as a certified trichologist, this is what I do daily and weekly here at my trichology clinic. I serve two purposes. I am a trichologist and I'm a hair loss specialist. So when clients are looking to find out why they've lost their hair, they want to grow their hair back, I help serve in that capacity. Then also, if there's a chance where someone has lost their hair, they've lost their hair in spots, they've lost their hair all over, they've lost their hair on the top, and they can't grow their hair back anymore, I also serve the capacity where I provide hair replacement. So if any of you guys have ever heard of hair replacement or toupee or lace units or cranial prosthesis or medical hair replacement, I perform that as well. So I do two things. So I am a trichologist and I'm also a non-surgical hair replacement specialist. So I always try to just serve and wear two hats. So I'm always taking one hat on, one hat off. When my clients are coming in for hair replacement, sometimes I am not able to do both at one time because it's hard for my clients to get cranial prosthesis and then also try to get their hair to grow back. So sometimes it's a little difficult with that. So I usually try to talk to my clients about wearing something that they can take on and off. So if you guys ever have any questions about hair replacement or growing your hair back, all you have to do is let me know. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm just gonna talk about 3 of the general reasons why I like to share in the groups of why people tend to lose their hair. Now I have about 22 people in here right now. And if you guys have any questions or if something is making sense to you, please just put it in the chat because this is a safe space. Nobody in here knows each other. And if you ever have any questions, boy, DLOV, thank you. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Thank you for my hearts. If you guys have any questions, I usually pin the question to the top so that we can answer it. But 3 general reasons why, thank you so much for my hearts. 3 general reasons why we tend to lose our hair. 1 is stress. Now, everyone can relate to that. There is not a time that goes on in this life that no one deals with stress. So stress is one reason why we tend to lose hair. Are there more reasons why we tend to lose hair? Of course there are. Stress. And then the second is genetics. And I usually say genetics or hormones, because a lot of people say, oh, well, my father, my mother, my brother and sister, they all lost their hair in the top. So I'm losing mine too. So yeah, so I say genetics, but it's really hormones. And then the third reason that I'm going to talk about today is illness. And I usually say illness, sickness, or disease. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. My live goal has been achieved. So I got a certain number of people in my live this morning. So if you guys want to make comments, you are more than welcome. Now, often while I'm in this chat, I'm a little cold, so I have my blanket on my legs. Often when I'm in the chat, clients always chime in and they always say, oh, well, I just got started on GLP-1, so now I'm losing my hair. Oh, I have a low thyroid. I have lupus. I have this, I have that. Yes, you are more than welcome to put all of that in the chat because we're going to talk about it. But I usually come on just to start out the conversation with the 3 reasons why. And thank you for my hearts. So when all of us are stressed, I like to start out by saying you guys cannot help anything by being stressed out. If there's anything that you can do to not be so stressed, you have to try to work on it because that can cause you to lose your hair. Now, I want to tell you all about something called the 3 growth phases. There are more than 3, but there are 3 general growth phases. There is the growth phase where your hair is just growing, growing, growing. It grows for a number of years. And in certain cultures and communities, the hair is going to grow for about maybe 5 to 8 years. And then in some cultures, it may grow 1 to 3 years. And then at the end of that period, the hair will shift. It will go to a resting phase called a catchy phase. And then it'll go to a fallout phase, which is called the telogen phase. So be in between the growth phase, the resting phase, and the fallout phase, anagen, catchy, or telogen, that hair is staying on top of the head. So at any one time, about 80 to 90% of all the hair on the head is in the growth phase, and 10% is in that resting phase, which is about to go to the fallout phase. So what happens when you are constantly stressed, how the stress affects your hair is those 80 to 90 hairs on your head, those hairs are going to be prematurely sent to the catchy and the telogen phase prematurely and too often and all the time. So you're going to have more and more hair being converted to the fallout phase, which is going to be, it won't be 80 to 90% that's going to be in the growth phase. It'll be 50 to 60, 60 to 70. And what happens is you're going to notice that your hair is going to be thinner. You're going to have less density because you're always stressed. Now, let me explain to you how when your hair is, you yourself is going through a very stressful period, how you send that hair into the fallout phase. So I'm going to explain that to you. Me as a trichologist, how I help my clients understand this is, it is my goal to share with you what it is that you've been going through, all of your experiences, how that is causing you to have the hair that you have right now. So one of the first things that happens is when we're constantly stressed, guess what happens? Our blood sugar goes up. Why does our blood sugar go up? If anyone in the chat wants to chime in and let me know why blood sugar goes up, let me know why blood sugar goes up when you're stressed. I'm just going to wait a second to see if anybody can put it in the chat because I don't want to just keep talking. I want to see if any of you guys are listening and you want to share with me in this experience, or you just want to sit and listen. So if not, I will just keep talking because I want to answer some questions. All right, come on, Namaste, Ma, Nama. What you got for me? You got a reason why? Cortisone, right. Okay, joyful, that's one. Cortisone levels, right. And namaste, cortisone levels go up. So let me share something with you about stress. Each time everybody wants to pop off and do all this and be mad at their man, mad at their girl, mad at work, mad because they can't get through traffic. Whenever you are stressed, you are not helping your body because number one, all of that cortisol is not good for the body all the time. Cortisol, number one, the more you are stressed, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol, for a lot of people, it may be good in the short run for people who are maybe under 30, under 40, but constant surges of cortisol all day, all the time, because you are stressed about everything, stressed about stuff you can't change. Stress will raise cortisol levels. When cortisol levels are constantly raised, it takes the glucose in your body and it converts it to something called glucagon. And glucagon, when you don't process it in the body, it gets stored around the middle, all along where the navel is. And in men, they get their basketball stomach. They get their basketball stomach as they age because the hormones aren't balanced that well because of the stress. Once we get to a certain age, the body just doesn't work the same when it comes to stress. So men, they get that basketball stomach. Some women, they get their beer pot belly type look. Now, let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Yeah. Joyful said you having technical difficulties. I don't know what just happened, but TikTok just like booted me out of the live and then I had to get back in. So let me know what y'all heard and what you didn't hear. So I'm going to finish going on with the cortisol. So with cortisol, the glucose in your body, which is sugar, the glucose is converted to something called glucagon. Glucagon, when it's secreted all the time. Yes, the basketball stomach. When the glucose is secreted all the time, what happens is, okay, thank you, Lady Blue. You said left off the basketball stomach. How people get that basketball stomach is as cortisol is secreted often, all the time, because you're stressed, with whatever, with life. That glucose that's secreted in the body is converted to something called glucagon, and it creates a situation where right around the navel, from the navel below, you gain a lot of weight and you hold it there because the body can't process all of that sugar. So the one thing that I want to say is try to not stress as much. Turn your phone off, say no to people. When there are some things that you just cannot change, or if somebody's getting on your nerves, the kids are getting on your nerves, kind of just leave it alone. You need to find some ways to de-stress. Now for women with certain body types, they usually tend to carry their weight here around the waist. And some people with apples and pear shapes, sometimes they distribute that weight from the navel down and around, the buttocks and the hips area. So the more and more you stress, your cortisol levels are consistently raised. And I'm so glad that you guys put in that cortisol can be raised when you're stressed. Cortisol is not good consistently all the time for your hair. It's just not a good hormone to keep in your body at peak levels all the time. One thing you can tell is when you're going like this to your hair, or even if you comb it, you'll see the entire strand of your hair will just be laying all over the place on your clothes. You'll see it, the whole strand with the little bulb attached at the end of it. So that's a period where your hair can be converted from the anagen phase to the telogen phase. And the telogen phase is that fallout phase prematurely, often, and all the time. So when you see that little bulb come out on the end, you know something is going on with you on the inside. You just have to find out what it is. And often a lot of hairdressers don't really know how to adequately explain that to you. All they'll say is, oh, just stop stressing. So I'm here to share with you, you have to manage how well you handle your stress. And I have a hormone guide in my link tree. When you tap on my face right there, you'll see my page come up. You tap on that link. That link will open up my online all of my multiple online links, my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram, my website, my store of where I wrote all my books, the store where you can buy products from me. All you have to do is tap on my face. You'll pull up that link, you tap on it, and my online store will come up. And that has a couple books that I've written. I've written a book on inflammation. I wrote a book on how to balance the hormones in your body so that you don't have to suffer so much hair loss. I wrote a book about which vitamins and minerals you need to balance in your body when you're on a lot of medication. I wrote a couple books up in there. So when you need to learn how to balance your stress hormones, there's a wonderful book. All you got to do is tap it. It costs $9.99. That will be excellent for you. If you know you're going through a lot of stress and you know you have a lot of unbalanced hormones that I'm going to talk about right now, that'll probably help you. So I'm going to go ahead and get to some of those questions in just a moment. So the second thing that I want to talk about, so we've had cortisol. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is high blood sugar. So whenever you guys are going through stressful periods, one thing that happens, which is something that we can't change, is a surge in blood sugar. So whenever we are stressed, what happens is the body shuts down the hunger response. Now, a lot of us do not want to eat when we're stressed. I know sometimes when I stress out my husband, we'll have a discussion, not even really an argument. We'll have a discussion about something. He could be right in the kitchen cooking at dinner time because I may have stressed him out about something or something he didn't agree with that we started talking about. He would just say, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not eating. And he will not eat for the rest of the night. Me, I'm eating. I don't care if I just had an argument, I'm going to eat. Some people, when they get stressed out, they will not eat. Now, my daughter who's in college, she has the same issue when she's constantly stressed out because she is a pre-med student. She gets stressed out a lot, and I'll ask her, did you eat today? She'd be like, no, I didn't eat since yesterday. It could be the mid-afternoon of the next day. My daughter just will not eat because with her stress, she's got to get her classes done. She got to go to work. And I tell her all the time, sweetie, you're a woman. You're a young menstruating woman. You have to eat. You can't not eat. Unless you're just fasting because you want to lose weight, you still need to be able to eat something. So when some people get stressed, they do not eat. Now, what I want to share with you is when you're having problems with hair growth, you need to eat because your body needs those minerals. It needs minerals all day long, constantly. It needs a good mix of proteins, fats, and carbs all day long to help balance your blood sugar. When you don't eat and you're dealing with a lot of stress, your blood sugar will raise itself. The reason why is because the brain, if you don't eat, the body is going to start eating the body. It's going to start tearing down and eating the body. It's going to produce ketones. However, the insulin that is surged into your body will create a lot of inflammation in your body. Now, a lot of us, when my clients come in, they'll say, oh, my scalp is so sore. My scalp is so sore. I didn't put a perm in it. I didn't blow dry it. I didn't do anything to my hair. I didn't put any tight braids in it, but my scalp is so sore. And I always say, a lot of it is due to your body's stress response. When you are stressed, your blood sugar is raised. It creates a lot of inflammation in the body. That inflammation creates inflammation in the scalp. Now, in some people, when you're stressed out, the body's pain response increases. So if you are stressed out and you already don't feel good, you're going to feel even worse because one of the things is the body's pain response goes up. Insulin goes up, creating inflammation in the body. It will make your hair and your scalp feel so bad. It is very intense. So in addition to the insulin levels going up and the blood sugar, okay, your insulin is going to come up, it's going to knock that blood sugar down, and then you're going to just be like this, you're going to crash and burn, all due to the stress. So if you can try to moderate how much stress you are going through because it's not good for your hair. It is not good for your hair. When that blood sugar is surged into your body because you're stressed out, that means you're not getting a lot of oxygen in your blood. You're not getting a lot of oxygen. Your arteries in your veins start to narrow and they constrict. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people have heart attacks and strokes after a stressful event. Blood sugar is raised, cortisol levels are raised, your arteries in your veins are growing smaller and smaller. So that means less blood flow to the extremities. All of that blood flow is going to stay right here. However, everywhere else is not getting any blood flow. Your hair is not getting any blood flow, it's not getting any oxygen. It is not good. So I tell everyone, please, the stress dynamic is not good for the body when it comes to you and your hair. Now, being under stress might be good for some people. It's not good for everyone, especially if you're one who loses a lot of hair during stress. Not everybody does. I know I do. I lose a lot of hair during stress, but that doesn't happen necessarily for a lot of people. When a client comes into my trichology clinic and I happen to view their scalp, what I'll see is a lot of empty follicles. So when I see a lot of empty follicles, the client doesn't know this, but I will automatically say, so tell me what has been going on in your life. Have you been very stressed out? How has work been for you? How is your family life? How are your parents? I know you're taking care of your parents. Tell me about your life. Tell me what's going on. Because those repeated surges of stress in the body, like I said, it will send that hair from the growth phase to the fallout phase. What happens is you'll have follicles without any hair in them. So I will see that those follicles are empty. So I will know that there's something going on with you by looking at your scalp. That's what I can do as a trichologist. Now, when you visit a dermatologist, your dermatologist will help you in many ways as well. But sometimes they're not going to go deep, such as a trichologist. That is what we do. One of the things we have to do as a trichologist is help you balance your stress levels. Now, that book I was just telling you about in my profile, much of what's in that book are things that are going to help you balance your stress hormones and your body's hormones. And it'll give you ways to help you when you're going through illness, sickness, and disease. So I know I talked about insulin levels, I talked about blood sugar, I talked about cortisol, and thank you so much for helping me in the room. One of the other things that I want to talk to you about is when you're constantly going through stress, your adrenaline is raised. Now, if you know anything about adrenals, okay, Lady Blue, I'm going to get to that in just a second. Let me see if I can pin that so I don't forget. So Lady Blue had a comment, and I'm going to talk about adrenaline. When you're under a lot of stress, adrenaline is released. Now, some people call this epinephrine. Some people call it adrenaline. So when adrenaline is raised, that is secreted from the adrenals. The adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, which are in your back. So when you are stressed and you're stressing out your adrenals because the body is secreting a lot of adrenaline all day long, it's also going to stress out your kidneys. And when you have a lot of kidney imbalances, it creates a lot of edema. It creates edema and swelling in your face. It creates edema and swelling in your legs. It creates a lot of stress and edema in the body for people who have weakened kidneys. So when you are going through a lot of adrenaline surges, I want you to know that adrenaline will be the reason why you have that vasoconstriction and why your arteries and veins narrow and why there's no oxygen going through your body. That oxygen and that flow can't get to your hair because of the adrenaline surges. So I'm going to address this comment that Lady Blue said. I stress about everything, the weather, my kids, world issues, you name it. I find a reason to worry. All right, Lady Blue. So I'm going to segue off of something else right now, and I'm going to stay in this live for a minute only because we're here. So I want to share with you something called the glymphatic system. I want you to, once you get off of this live, Lady Blue, you have homework. There's something called the glymphatic system. The glymphatic system is a network of lymphatic channels leading from the brain. Now, the glymphatic system is very similar to the lymphatic system. Now, you have lymphatic channels at the base of the scalp right here. You have lymphatic channels here. So when your doctor checks you out, sometimes he'll go here to see if your lymphatic glands are swollen. You have lymphatic channels here, and that's a lot of reasons why doctors will tell us that we have lymph node cancer or breast cancer because it starts out in the lymph. We also have lymph nodes right around the V area of our vagina, and for the men in that same area, right around that V, you have lymphatic channels there, which is why a lot of men get prostate cancer. You have lymphatic channels at the base of your ankles, which is a lot of reasons why people get lymphedema. So I said all that to say you have lymphatic channels in your brain that needs to detoxify all of that anxiety and worry and stress from your brain. Lady Blue, my sister, you can't worry about stuff that you cannot control. What we have to do is develop a relationship with God and our creator and give all that to him. There are just some things that we cannot do except be prepared. If our creator says we need to prepare, all you need to do is be prepared and leave the rest to him. What you should not do is worry about things you can't control. You cannot. And I swear I don't mean no harm. We cannot control that man running the streets. We can't control them kids. Them kids going to get into problems and issues whether you like it or not because they're just kids and we were kids once. We can't worry about the job all the time. All we can do is worry about what we can do. We can't control the weather. The weather is going to make it do what it do. God said he will never destroy this earth, never again. He gave us a rainbow for a reason. That rainbow was to let us know he will never destroy the earth the way he did back in the early Bible days with Noah. He will not destroy this earth. Things are going to happen on the earth. We can't do anything about that. We can't do anything about the weather. All we need to do is let God do what he does. That constant worry, that constant stress activates the lymphatic system. Our body can't detoxify all of that waste from the worry and anxiety because it gets stored there every day, all day long. The body needs to be able to de-stress all of the anxiety and worry through the lymphatic system and out the body. The more you retain all that stress and anxiety and worry, along with high amounts of blood sugar, you can develop type 3 diabetes, or you can get something called dementia, Alzheimer's, from all of that worry and from all that toxicity staying up in your brain. So Lady Blue, like I said, you have homework to do today. From all that stress, you're going to create your own dynamic. You're going to cause inflammation of your lymphatic system. It starts with a G, GLYMPHATIC, system. Read it. You find some other ways to de-stress this because you are, yes, oh wow, yes, you are going to cause some unnecessary strain and stress for your body that you don't need. Just focus on what you can control. Give the rest to God. That's why he said in Philippians 4:6 or 4:9, don't be anxious about anything, but prayer and supplication. Let your petitions be made known to God. That's all you got to do. Pray about it, give it to him, and work in harmony with your purpose. That's all we're supposed to do. We're not in control. We're not. The one who's in control is a creator. And I hope that I didn't offend anyone. So I just want to let you know, because I get on here only to just share with you what it is that I do day in and day out with my clients. I have to sit with my clients and tell them about the worry and about the anxiety and about the stress. My clients come in, they stress about their hair. They stress because their husbands may or may not like the way their hair looks, when a lot of times they haven't even asked, but because they feel unworthy, because they feel some type of way about their hair, they come to me because they are trying to find answers on what they can do for their hair. So yes, so Lady Blue said, well, you said you are the second person who told me I need a close relationship with God. That's just in general. And of course, and I don't mean any harm. But when I'm sitting here talking to everyone about anxiety and about stuff we can't control, it's nothing we can do. All we can control, well, we don't even really control that, is how well we put one foot in front of the other. Because we're not even in charge of that. So Lady Blue, you always welcome in my inbox, girl. It's okay. Yes, okay. Your life coach says the same thing. You always welcome my inbox. Look, because we know our sisters, we need each other. So I will say this, because I'm talking about stress, that's one of the things that I have to merge into, is just to say, you're going to make it harder for your lymphatic system to detoxify all that anxiety and stress, which makes it harder for your hair, which builds more cortisol, which builds more adrenaline, which builds more blood sugar in your body that is full of inflammation. Now, once all that blood sugar surges all through your body constantly all the time, it creates inflammation, which is why, like I said, you feel more pain. You feel more pain in the scalp. You feel pain everywhere when you're stressed out. Everything about the body is amplified during stress. So I'm going to segue into my next reason why I'm here. I like to share with everyone the second reason why we tend to lose our hair is due to genetics. So I say genetics because it's not really just genetics, it's hormones. So what I like to share with everyone is you always need to worry and balance your hormones. When it comes to genetics, a lot of people will say, oh, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my grandmother, somebody had hair loss and they gave it to me. Yes, and I understand, and that is fine and well. What I'm here to share with you is there are some ways that you can manage your hair and some things that you can do. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have heard it or not, but you can use things called DHT blockers. However, I don't necessarily think you need to block DHT, because DHT, for a lot of people, does good things for the body. So DHT is not a bad guy. It's not a bad thing. However, these hair product companies have made it seem as if DHT is a bad thing. However, in some people, DHT, when it's created because of testosterone combining with something called 5-alpha reductase enzymes, they bind together, they form DHT. Now, for someone like me, I don't suffer with male or female pattern hair loss. So DHT is fine for me because it does different things as far as helping the hormones and testosterone and stuff like that in the body. Now, for certain people, DHT can cause you to have thinning hair or miniaturized follicles over time. So that anagen phase that I was talking about that merges into the telogen, or that fallout phase, the hair doesn't necessarily fall out. However, the growth phase of your hair gets shorter and shorter. So the hair will still grow. However, over time, the size of the hair follicle will miniaturize with time. The growth phase of the hair will miniaturize. It'll slow down and it won't stay on the hair as long. So that hair, it'll continue growing. However, over time, the growth phase will just get shorter and shorter, and the hair will get thinner and thinner to the point where the hair just will not grow anymore. So there are things that you can do, and I put that in my my stress hormones book that you can read about. Different things that you can take, different things that you can do to help balance and stave off that thinning hair. Now, for women, the one thing that I want to share with you about is balancing your hormones. When you're having thinning hair issues, and you have hair here in the top that is starting to thin, all this hair here above the eyebrow, all the way around, this is the area called the hormonal sensitive, or the hormonal zone. This area whole up here, it's a whole lot of women who retain hair here all the way around the base at the bottom. This hair stays good. It doesn't thin. It doesn't get any thinner. But this hair here is always subject to thinning hair when unbalanced hormones come into play. So I'm telling you all, you'll find some good information in my book. The book is $9.99. It'll tell you all about how to balance your hormones. I just want to check my phone real quick. Don't go anywhere, y'all. I just want to make sure. Okay. I just want to make sure that my husband didn't call. So let me share with you some of the many different types of hormones that become unbalanced and cause you to have thinning hair in the top. Now, this could be another reason why your mother, your father, your brother and sister all have that thinning hair pattern in the top, because there are hormones for women, prolactin levels. When our prolactin levels are up and down, we may have just had a baby. What happens is prolactin levels will go up and they'll increase because we're trying to nurse. Prolactin goes into the breast ducts, helps you create milk. So that whole time that you're creating milk for your baby, usually the estrogen levels are doing really well. Your hair is growing really well. But suddenly, once you stop nursing, sometimes in some women, because of that unbalanced level of hormones, sometimes you'll wind up losing your hair. Often with women, because their progesterone levels and their estrogen levels are going up and down, that will cause you another reason why you would lose your hair right after a baby. Sometimes, because in certain women, not all women, because the estrogen is nice and high the whole time you're having a baby, and then as soon as you have that baby, poof, you automatically, you've lost all of the amounts of estrogen that you used to have. And for some women, because they've let go of the baby, and then they suddenly have a menstrual cycle for maybe 12 weeks or so because they finished having a baby, a lot of people lose their hair. I wasn't one of those ones, but I've had a lot of clients who lost their hair immediately after having a baby, and then it would take maybe 6 months to a year for their hair to come back. So someone left me a question. Okay. And it says, can you share some of your suggestions on how to balance your hormones? So Joyful, again, I have a hormone book in my in my link in my store. As soon as you tap on my name, you'll see my profile page. You tap on my name, a link will come up and you'll see my online store. I have a book on how to balance your hormones there. What I share with all my ladies is, it is a challenge balancing your hormones because there are so many other hormones in the body that need to be balanced. And there are so many things that we are doing to create unbalanced hormones. This is one of the reasons why we have unbalanced hormones. I always say to all my women who understand where I'm coming from, we be doing too much. We do too much. When you really want to get to the point where you want to kind of balance more of your hormones, you have to go deep. You have to dig way, 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 way deep. Now I'm going to share some things. After you have that baby and that estrogen level goes straight down, sometimes a lot of people who are very sensitive will lose a lot of their hair. And those people are very estrogen sensitive. Another thing is insulin. Insulin levels. Insulin is a hormone. When you're having too many surges of insulin, and I just started marketing a product that will help my clients balance their insulin levels. This helps my clients when they're dealing with insulin resistance. It's a period where you're creating so many insulin surges because of your blood sugar is constantly being surged up all the time. Your body gets to the point where it doesn't even recognize its own insulin. So you're going through a period of insulin resistance. Your blood sugar is always so high that you have to get put on metformin. You have to learn how to change your diet. A lot of my people start taking metformin and things like that and still don't change their diet. That's what I'm talking about when I say we be doing too much. You want to have what you want to have, but you don't want to change your body's experience. You have to stop doing some things so that you don't have to befall everything that happens to you. You don't have to be on metformin. You don't have to be on all these medications if you just do what you're supposed to do. Some things you just can't have. So prolactin levels, they go up and down when we're having babies and we want to nurse. Sometimes we don't want to nurse, so we'll automatically get on a pill. Doing things like that, it causes the body to be unbalanced in a level because the body is meant to do certain things at certain times. And then when we instantly get on medication, we instantly get on a pill, we're getting on a pill, we're getting off a pill, then we wonder why our hair is having a problem because you're causing the body's hormonal balance to be unbalanced. Also, the cortisol levels going up and down. That is not good for the body. The melatonin levels in the body. Melatonin is actually a hormone. I will say this one thing before I answer Joyful's question. When your body, just say wherever you are, Eastern time, Pacific time, Mountain time, Central Standard time, when it's time for your body to go to sleep, your body will naturally invoke sleep because of the melatonin levels that are increased in the body once darkness hits. Some of us work at night, so our melatonin levels are a little off. That causes an imbalance in the body because we're naturally supposed to go to sleep once dusk and nightfall hits. When nightfall hits, we produce more melatonin. We're supposed to go to sleep. Melatonin is actually an immune protectant. It's a source of immunity for the hair follicle. If you're always fighting sleep, that is not good for your hair follicles. That's why our follicles become so susceptible to hair fall out and different things because we're not taking advantage of the body's full experience. If the body is meant to go to sleep at dusk and at nightfall, go to sleep. Turn the phone off, put the phone in another room. You are not going to die. Whatever it is, it can wait till the next day. If you need to, just tell people, look, I need to get some rest. I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's it. That's it. You need to go to sleep because melatonin is a hormone that you need to take advantage of. You can't fight sleep. Even if you only sleep 4 or 5 hours and you don't sleep with an alarm, allow your body to just wake up whenever it's supposed to wake up. If you need extra sleep, there are some things that you probably need to add or remove from your diet so that you can get a sufficient amount of sleep. Often you can take melatonin, but you shouldn't take melatonin so much where your body gets dependent on it because you're causing a bit of an imbalance in your body. So you can take some things to just help you manage sleep. However, you may not want to consistently take melatonin all the time. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is estrogen levels and progesterone levels. When your levels are unbalanced because you're on a pill, off the pill, you're taking HRT and hormone replacement therapy, when you're causing a lot of imbalance in the body, that's why we have unbalanced hair growth and fallout. When we're going through PCOS, there is an abundance of testosterone and not enough estrogen. Unbalanced hormone all the time will cause issues where you're secreting too much sebum. You'll be oily all the time, and you'll have issues where you'll have too much hair. You'll have mustaches. You'll have a syndrome where your hair is thinning in the top. That's because your hormones are unbalanced. So sis, when you were asking me, Joyful, how you can balance some of your hormones, one of the things you have to do is get that book and find out what you can do to just give your body a bit of balance to an imbalanced body. Another thing that you need to do is detoxify your gut. Your gut stores a lot of excess hormones that your body reabsorbs, and that causes a lot of internal issues when you're constantly reabsorbing your own waste because you're not going to the bathroom enough. You need to, when possible, add some fiber to your diet so that your body can release some of that toxic waste that you won't continue to reabsorb. Next, you need to detoxify your liver. And this is a lot of the reasons why we have so many issues: pain, stiffness, swelling, cloudy thinking. We can't seem to get enough rest. Is because we have a lot of toxicity and a lot of stored hormones in our liver. So you have to detox that gut, detoxify your liver. The next thing you need to do is stay away from xenoestrogens. You need to stay away from aluminums. You need to stay away from fluoride toothpaste. You need to use maybe essential oils and baking soda and peroxide and use that as a toothpaste. Mix it with some essential oils like peppermint and thieves or things like that, and some cinnamon. Use that in your toothpaste. You don't need fluoride toothpaste because all those chemicals, they cause unbalance in your hormones. They're called xenoestrogens. Cooking your food on aluminum cookware, cooking and heating your food and drinking water out of plastic bottles, xenoestrogens. They cause unbalance in your body. Okay, detoxify the gut, detoxify the liver. Then you have to manage those xenoestrogens. You also need to watch the types of food you eat. The types of food you eat may not be the right ones for you. Chicken, I don't know so many people who don't like chicken, but chicken is not really good for the American. The American consumer is not good. Aside from the fact that they're always giving it antibiotics and different hormones, the hormones come from the fact that the chickens and cows and things like that sometimes eats the remains and the waste of other animals. And what is that? Excess hormones, eating the hormones of the other animals. Sometimes it's not always good to consistently eat meat all the time, because if the meat is not right for you, it will change your body's experience and alter your hormones, especially beef. A lot of beef is not good for all people all the time. I tell everyone, you should eat right for your blood type. You start there. That will give you more of a balance for your blood type. If you're an A, you shouldn't have any meat at all. You should only be eating fish, maybe soy, and then just vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, plants, anything, any plant proteins for type A. If you're an AB, you should only have turkey, maybe soy. If you're a B, you should definitely stay away from chicken and shellfish. If you're an O, you should stay away from pork, but you can have more protein because type O's usually have more blood sugar and more insulin resistance issues. So Joyful, if you want to know how to balance your hormones, you have to do all of that. All of that. You really, 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 if you're having a problem with your hormones, you should try to take something naturally to balance your hormones. And I understand as women, we're not trying to have illegitimate children. We don't want excess children that we don't need. So we'll get on a pill. But the problem with those pills sometimes is you're getting on the pill, off the pill. You're getting a shot, you're not getting a shot. All of that stuff causes an imbalance in your hormones because you're taking a synthetic medicine to balance your hormones and to stabilize your eggs from dropping so that they don't drop into the uterus and they don't get fertilized. When you're giving your body something synthetic, that's going to ruin your body's hormonal experience. That will cause subsequent hair loss. Now, for those who have genetic sensitivities in the family where they may suffer from male and female pattern hair loss or hormonal hair loss, there are a lot of different pills out there and a lot of different hormonal products out there that have excess testosterone added into it. And sometimes that excess testosterone will cause you to have more issues. So when you want to balance your hormones, you have to go deep. You have to go hard, and you have to try to balance as naturally as possible, because the more things we keep doing, the more things we involve ourselves in, the more we keep eating things and exposing ourselves to things that aren't good for us. This is why our bodies are so screwed up, to the point in another 5 to 10 years, we're going to be walking around glowing like light sticks because of what it is that we're doing. So if anyone else has any more questions, I wanted to just answer that question for Joyful, because that is a very multifaceted, layered question, and I needed to really dig deep and answer that. So Real Black Hair said, what hair products do you use or suggest? I really don't. I don't really suggest any hair products. I'm not a hair products junkie. I don't really get into that because I'm a hair loss professional. So any hair products that I recommend are usually solely based around the fact that people are trying to restore their hair. So I don't really recommend any hair products at all. So even if you're still in the room, I don't even know if that helped you answer your question. But any products that I do use or recommend would all be on my website, which is a tap away. You tap that name right there. You go to my profile. You pull up that link. You go to your store. And anything that I would recommend will be shown right there because I don't really recommend any hair products. So I wanted to see if anyone else had any more questions, because if not, I'm going to go into, okay, Sharuda Shield. Okay, let me see. Let me pin this if you're still in the room. So she said, what would you suggest if you fast until the sun goes down? Well, I just started marketing a product. I started working with Dr. Kenneth Hairloss, and I can send you some information in your inbox. It's a something that you can take while you're fasting because your body is going to develop a lot of ketones. The ketones, your body will start breaking down its own proteins in the body. However, in the midst of you fasting, sometimes I suggest that people, take like a brief fiber supplement just to help you in between, along with your fasting. Even if you wanted to fast for the full day, 2 days, or a weekend, sometimes I still ask that you drink water and have a basic fiber supplement and not eat. Because as a hair loss specialist, my goal is to make sure that you're continually adding vitamins and nutrients to your body. You definitely need some electrolytes. I don't want you to not eat because that is just not good for your hair, especially if you're having problems with hair growth, because the body needs a mix of proteins, fats, and carbs at regular intervals all the time just to manage your blood sugar. But if you choose to fast, this is for my people who choose to fast. I do have a product that I recommend. However, I usually send that as a link to their inbox so I can send it to you, or even send a video about what it is I recommend to people who like to fast, because that is something that works for some people. However, when I work with my clients with hair loss, because I ask them to take vitamins and minerals and supplements to help balance their body's experience, a lot of times I don't suggest fasting because they have to take those with food. So I can send that to you. I just have to Sharudia Shell. I'll try to send that to you. Hopefully your page isn't private, because if your page is private, I can't send it to you. But I can send you a link to some things that I recommend for fasting. But I wanted to see if anyone else has any more questions. So yes, yeah, you can take saw palmetto unique 2 at 88. Yes, you can take saw palmetto. And you said, what can you take if you don't want to take saw palmetto? It messes with your periods and your liver. For you, if you wanted some other products that you can use instead of saw palmetto, I do have it in my hormonal ebook. I have tons. I have quite a few in there that you can take that will help you with your body's experience if it's causing you some issues. And because you were having some issues with the saw palmetto was probably trying to balance you out, because I usually recommend that for men because that's good for prostate health. For women, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but for men, I do. So if you need more information, just try to check out that hormone ebook. It's only $9.99. I think it would be valuable to you if you are trying to see how you can balance your periods. And like I said earlier, if you weren't listening a few minutes ago, there are some other things that you really should do along with trying to balance out your hormones. So Lady Blue said, meat was very bad for me. And you said, I was always at the doctor and at the hospital since I gave up meat. Good. I'm glad you did. So, because not everyone needs to have meat. Some people, they can have nuts, seeds, legumes, soy. There are so many things that you can have, and fish. You don't always have to have meat. Some people, because we're raised on meat, a lot of people just want meat. So Lady Blue says, I just go to the doctor for checkups. That is great. That is wonderful. So, yes, and Sharuda said, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. So hopefully your box is open, and I'm going to see if I'm going to send that to you. Hopefully, I say I'm going to send stuff to people, then I go try to send stuff, and then their pages are private. So only because I'm a business, I try to remain open. Even if I can't send it to you, just hit me back and say, LaRon, you're supposed to send me that stuff. So Unique 2 at 88, you are welcome. And if anyone has any more questions, I'm going to hit the last reason why we tend to lose our hair. So, and then in YouTube, if you guys have any questions, you have 3 people in the room right now. If you have any questions, I can answer them right now. So give me a second, TikTok. So Shug 881. Hi, Shug. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. You said you have inflammation. Well, I'm not sure if you know, Shug. I have a book that I wrote on inflammation, and that can give you some helpful ways on how you can reduce your inflammation. But Shug, what I want you to understand is, in addition to the 3 reasons why we tend to lose hair, for inflammation, the inflammation is coming from an organ. Whenever you have multitudes and a lot of inflammation in the body, is coming from an organ. It's your goal and your duty to find out which organ is creating the inflammation. It could be coming from your heart. Your heart may have, it may not have enough pump power. You may have left ventricle issues. You may have atherosclerosis. You may have articular sclerosis, where you have inflammation or too much plaque in the arteries. It could come from your liver. There may be too many lipids in your blood. You may have problems with your cholesterol in your liver. You may have problems with your gallbladder. Your gallbladder may not be able to digest fats. It may be coming from your stomach. It may be coming from your kidneys. It may be coming from your gut. So when you have inflammation, I have a book. All you have to do is go to my website. You can go to my link tree. You can find the book on inflammation, read it, and that will help you deal with inflammation. It'll give you some good herbs and things that you can use for inflammation. However, you have to find out which organ is attributable to the inflammation or is responsible for the inflammation. So Jamila said, have you ever dealt with anyone who has possibly had COVID-induced telogen effluvium? As a matter of fact, Jamila, I'm about to address that right now. So you said your dermatologist thinks that's my problem. I had COVID in January of 2022, and I'm still having an issue with my hair falling out after about 2 months of growth each time I cut it into a fade. So I'm about to hit that now. So namaste, Nama. Because I answer her question first, please hang in the room for a minute. And Lady Blue, hang in the room for a minute, because I'm going to address what my viewer said here in YouTube. So now I'm going to get into the 3rd reason. So I talked about the 2 of the reasons why we tend to lose our hair. We lose it due to stress. We lose it due to genetics or hormones. And then we also lose it because of illness. So the illness is really illness, sickness, and disease. So Jamila said that she was going through COVID. She had COVID in 2022. However, there's the issue in the idea of long COVID. So what I want you guys to understand is COVID, for people like us brown folks, a lot of us have more metabolic issues, more problems with cholesterol, high lipids, high cholesterol, high lipids, liver fat, blood pressure issues, insulin issues, or the big 3, high A1C, high sugar, and we're usually overweight. Not saying that you are, Jamila. I don't know your experience, but COVID will amplify any inflammatory issues you're having in your body. Because I don't know you and I haven't met you, I don't know what other issues were in your life's experience before you had COVID. COVID will amplify those and create a problem for those where even long after you've had COVID, if you haven't addressed your body's immune issues, your body's resources are devoted to helping you manage an illness or a viral load. If you've ever had COVID, shingles, chickenpox, herpes, warts, anything like that, there's a viral load, even shingles and Lyme. If it's a viral load, it creates an inflammatory response. And if your body's immune system hasn't been properly dealt with, if you haven't given your body the immune support since you've had COVID, your body is still treating you as if you have COVID. If I took your blood work and looked at your white blood cells and looked at your neutrophils and your white blood cells, I'm pretty sure I would still see some challenges with your body's blood work, because your body, if it hasn't dealt with it, that's why you're still having issues. You would need to detoxify your body, and would need to give it immune support, and you probably need to correct whatever other inflammatory issues you're having, which is why they call it long COVID. They're not able to put it into a frame of mind the way me as a trichologist can. All I can share with you is, if you've had some other issues going on in your body, the COVID will amplify it. Then also, if you haven't dealt with the fact that your body still needs to be addressed as far as that your immune system is concerned, you're going to continually have problems even a year or 2 in. That's why it's called long COVID. It will still create a dynamic where you're probably still losing hair, or your hair will still remain thin because you haven't properly dealt with your body's issues. So that's what I do as a certified trichologist, is to delve into your experience. This is what a dermatologist will not do for you, is go into that and tell you how to nurture and support that, so that you can come out of it in a year or two from now. Your hair will be thicker and fuller because you've been giving your body what it needs. It takes a lot of work for your body's metabolism to fight off an illness. All of what you eat, all of the resources you give your body are devoted to you still managing that white blood cell profile and that COVID in your body and your body's weakened immune system. It takes a lot of work. That's why when you get sick or you have the flu, 9 times out of 10, you usually can't eat, but you need to eat because it'll cause your body to lose weight because you're not eating. Your body needs all the resources that it can to fend off and help you get well. Because your body's still dealing with it, it needs to come from somewhere. The body is going to take all these resources and devote its energy to your immune system. Meanwhile, your hair will starve and it will suffer the effects of having that COVID. So I hope I answered your question for you. And if you need me, you can always reach out. You can reach out to me at info@hairlosscenternj.com and send me an email, or you can visit my website, hairlosscenternj.com. Schedule a 15-minute session with me, and I'll answer all of your questions as much as I can in 15 minutes. And then you can decide if you'd like to work with me for the next 6 months. And then I can just help you navigate some of your body's experience and help you get yourself out of that. So I wanted to address Lady Blue. She said, I challenge my friends and my family who want to change to start with meatless Mondays. Yes, it takes time. It takes time. There are so many things that you can do. I was raised around a family who were Seventh-day Adventists, and they did not eat meat. So I was already raised with, eating things that weren't meat, and I had no problem with it because I came up in a household where I lived in the hood. I lived in subsidized housing, and I was lucky to have a meal. It really didn't matter what the meal looked like and what it tastes like. I was getting a meal, and my aunt knew how to jazz it up and make it taste so good where it didn't matter if it wasn't meat. I still ate it anyway. So I'm used to eating it. And for a lot of people who have been raised on meat, a lot of people can't get out their own way. They just have to have meat, gotta have meat, gotta have meat. They can't even think straight and try something else. There are a lot of things that you can have. I follow at least 10 people on YouTube who provide different kinds of meals. Even Tabitha. I follow Tabitha. Tabitha shows you so many ways that you can make food that doesn't include meat, and it is very fulfilling and it will fill you up. You have to be open. If you're not open, you won't be able to change your body's experience. So I commend you for that. So Namaste Nama said, I'm RH negative in blood type. Any foods high in mineral content, can that help? You would really have to consult with Google, or either go to the blood type handbook and find out which ones are best for you. I would never say that you couldn't have anything. However, when it comes to the blood type diet, I wholeheartedly support that. I would suggest you get a handbook, or get the book, or go online and visit the app and then find out which ones are right for you, because I am not an expert in what is really the best for someone that's RH negative. So you just let me know. I usually tell everyone, if you really want to know, try following Mama Trey Wilborn, because Mama Trey Wilborn is more she's more well-versed in the experience of the blood type diet. So, okay. What about inositol to help lower DHT? Well, you need 2 at 88. I may have to do a little bit more research on that. I'm going to write that down because I am not familiar with that. And I am not God. And I'm never one to say that I know everything. I don't know everything, because my name is not Jesus. It's not God. It's not Jehovah. It's not Allah. My name is LaRon Quarles. So I don't know everything about everything. I do a lot of research. Inositol for DHT. So I am going to read that. But there are a lot of things that you can take for lowering DHT. If you, in fact, have female pattern hair loss, then I would be concerned about it. If you have visited a trichologist or a dermatologist and they have told you that you have female pattern hair loss, then maybe you could try to, work some things out with trying to lower DHT. If that's in fact what you have. I never like to just say, oh yeah, you probably have it. I haven't seen you. I don't know what your hair looks like. If you have the classic frontal indentations here and your hair is starting to thin here, eventually it will meet and it will all grow thin. However, with women, you will not lose it all because we don't have enough aromatase in the body to cause us to lose all of our hair. If that's in fact what you have, I would say try to balance some other things out, because what I would suggest is work on trying to balance your estrogen levels and not so much focus on DHT. Try to see if you can visit a trichologist or a hair loss practitioner that can help you with your experience to see if that's in fact what you need to do. I don't know anything about it, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to read it once I get off of this live. However, I don't know it well enough to talk about DHT. Just find out if that's the type of hair loss that you have first before you venture into something that you may not even need. You may need to just balance your hormone levels, because with women, it's not always scarring alopecia. It's not always male and female pattern hair loss. Sometimes it's weakened levels of estrogen and progesterone in the body that needs to be managed so that you can get your hair back. So, yes, Faith Grace. Okay, Faith Grace, you said yes. Okay. Oh, Lady Blue, you're welcome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for purchasing that book. And yes, the Dame, yes, I do the consultations. I am the business. When you go to SVO Hair Loss, I am the business. So when you come to me, this is who you're going to see. You're going to see me. I am the business. There's no one else in my business. I would love to hire more hair loss practitioners. However, hairstylists are a dime a dozen. Someone who wants to do something like this, I would love to hire anyone who would love to do something like this, because I train. However, it's tough to get people to work in your facility because everyone wants to do hair in their own space. They want to get their own suite. They don't want to work in a team. They don't want to work with other people. But I do train hair loss practitioners and trichologists. However, I don't have anyone else. So when you come to me in my business, the Dame, all you're going to get is me. So Risha said, I'm new here. How can I grow my hair? How can I grow my daughter's edges back and fuller? I would suggest you schedule a 15-minute consultation with me, because I don't know your full experience. I don't know if your daughter is suffering from traction. I don't know if she's suffering FFA. I don't know what her experience is, because if she has snatched it out with braids or with a frontal or something like that, sometimes it doesn't matter how much you do. You have to wait it out. There are some things you can do, but I don't know what your daughter's experience is to be able to just give her advice, because I don't know her experience and I haven't seen her edges. If you have 15 minutes, I would say just tap my name above. You'll see my link come up, and you'll see on my page, you'll see 3 people in blue scrubs, and it says book your 15-minute hair restoration consultation. We can talk a little bit more about your daughter's experience, but I don't really know. I would say if you want to just try some products because you don't feel like going through all that and spending 15 minutes to find out more about your needs, just hit my link here, go to my website and buy any of the products on my website, which will help your daughter and her edges. Other than that, I would say spend some time with me and have a 15-minute consultation so that I can help you with your experience. So you're welcome to it, 88. You're welcome. You're welcome. They came out from braids. She's 6. Yeah, I would just say if you can just, give me a call and give me a buzz, because contrary to how you guys may feel, I never like to just give blanket advice for certain things. I'd rather see the client and then we can talk more about the experience. And I don't mean to diminish what it is that you said, but I'm about to go over here on YouTube and answer some of these questions. So Sonny said, I take iron and vitamin D off and on, but my iron and vitamin D is very low every time I get a blood test. Should I do liquid iron instead of a pill? I'm in perimenopause, cooking cast iron, eat beef sometimes. I would say, Sonny, eat for your blood type and then find out whatever your blood type is and work within that, because your body, if you're constantly in and out of being anemic, it's probably the way your body digests the food and how it filters it into the small intestine and the large intestine. Your body is probably having some trouble digesting and maintaining iron, and it could be from the way your body digests foods. You may need hydrochloric acid and enzymes or digestive bitters so that you can digest your food well. And I would also say, secondly, just eat for your blood type, because there's more iron in other things such as spinach, and you don't always have to eat beef. So I hope that will help. And Jamila, if you're even still here, you're welcome. Your hair is thinning at the edges and breaking at the nape of your neck. If your hair is thinning at the edges, you may be having some issues. I'm not sure if your hair is just dry or it has anything to do with how you style your hair. That I don't know. I don't know your body's full experience. And if it's breaking at the nape of your neck, that could mean and signal that you're having immune system challenges, because when your hair is short here, anywhere along this whole area here, your hair may be having some immune system challenges. And that's just my personal experience from being a trichologist. But I apologize, everyone. I have been on here for an hour and I have to go because I have to get ready for a 4-hour Zoom call with my business group. And I will be on here later on today and also tomorrow. And I thank you so much. If y'all have any questions that you want me to address tomorrow or later on in the live, please just send me a message and I will make sure that I address them, because I'll make sure the first thing I do when I get on my live, if you're not on, is to address your comments. And I'm sorry, but I have to go. And I thank you so much. And thank you from my heart. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome, Shug. And if there's anything that I can do for anyone, just let me know. And YouTube is having me do something here with this. Okay, got it. So yes, so just let me know. Thank you so much for joining me, TikTok and YouTube. And I gotta skate. Peace, love, and hair grease, everyone. LaRon from SBO Hairloss in Pleasantville, New Jersey. Have a good day.